Hello friends and neighbors. So, 10 years ago today, I took my old Canon video camera and some kind of tripod, I think it was probably my grandfather's old tripod that he used to use, to the backyard of my parents' house where I was living at the time, sat down in the grass, turned on the camera, and filmed my very first vlog. It wasn't the first video that I uploaded to YouTube, but it was the first time that I had turned on the camera and talked to it with the intention of eventually uploading it to YouTube. And over the course of the next 10 years, with varying degrees of success and regularity, I have been uploading videos to this very channel. It's kind of crazy to think that I've been doing this for 10 years because me making videos on YouTube has substantially changed my life. And I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to commemorate the fact that I have been doing this off and on for 10 years. And I decided I wanted to do something where it doesn't involve any of my characters or storylines or anything like that. It's just going to be me talking a little bit, and then it occurred to me that there has been this meme that I participated in actually about 10 years ago now, and again 5 years ago, where I address a video to myself from the past. So that's what this video is going to be. I am going to make this video with 10 things that I would like to tell myself from 10 years ago, the self that is making that very first vlog. So this is definitely going to be one of my more serious videos, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about my personal life than I ordinarily do. If that's not the sort of thing that interests you, then you don't have to watch. I think I might be as nervous making this video today as I was making my first video 10 years ago, which is a feeling I haven't had for a while. So without further ado, the rest of this video will be addressed to myself from 10 years ago. Hey Matt, how's it going? It's me, your 33-year-old self, addressing you, my 23-year-old self. A lot has changed over the past 10 years. Right now, you are a recent college graduate with a music education degree. Congrats on that, by the way. You're currently in the process of trying to find a job where you can teach music to children in some capacity. You very recently moved back in with your parents, and you're basically still living out of a suitcase and will continue to do so for a few months at least. And you and your most recent girlfriend have mutually decided to end your roughly 1-year relationship. Now obviously, as much as we both enjoy time travel, we know that, at least with current technology, it's not possible. You're not actually going to watch this. This is just an exercise. And even if time travel were possible, we don't necessarily want to do anything that would change the past. So we're just going to assume that it's a timeline sort of along the lines of like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban or the Time Traveler's Wife, where you can go back and visit the past, but you can't actually make any changes to the timeline. However, there are some things that I know that you might want to know about the next 10 years, and I'm going to share those with you. Thing number one, let's talk about your career. So like I said, you are in the process of looking for a teaching job. Your dream job right now is to be a band director, middle school, high school. That's what you want to do. That's what you have been studying for 5 years to do, to get your music education degree so that you can be a band director. That's not going to happen. You are going to teach music for a couple of years. It's going to be a general education class for K through 8 students at a small charter school, and then later a bunch of different part-time jobs that will completely burn you out on teaching music. And then you're going to get a job working in the produce department of a grocery store, and that is where you are right now. You're never going to stop loving music, and you're never going to stop loving teaching, but you are going to fall out of love with the education system. And the thing I'm going to tell you about that is that's okay. Plenty of people get degrees that they don't ever use in their careers. It's okay that you don't ever get back into music education. Your college experience isn't just about getting that piece of paper. It's about the people that you met and the things that you learned. And the whole idea of a dream job is kind of a dream in and of itself. And this isn't for everybody, this is just specifically for you. You know that if you really got your dream job doing exactly what you wanted to do all the time and getting paid for it, even doing that, you would burn out on that eventually. Because you know how you work. You throw yourself into absolutely everything. Everything that you have, you throw into the things that you are passionate about. But that kind of energy isn't limitless. And so if anything, it's good that now you are working just a regular 40-hour-a-week job where you can come home and leave work at work and focus on the things that you love in your free time as hobbies. Again, I'm not saying that this is for everybody, and I'm not even saying that it's going to be for you permanently. It's just where you are right now, and that's okay. Thing number 2. The master's degree. Yeah, you're gonna get your master's degree. Actually, next year you're going to go into graduate school and work for actually 4 years, but realistically like 2.5 if you actually count the time that you actually worked. You feel compelled to get your master's degree right now because you think that it's required of you. Well, they're actually gonna change the law on that, so it won't be required of you anymore. But I think you also feel compelled to get it because it's just the next step. Getting the next degree. You've got your bachelor's degree, now you need your master's. And as you are going through the application process, you are going to be told by a number of people that it's probably a good idea to wait, to not get your master's degree right now, but to get a couple of years of teaching experience under your belt first and then go for your master's degree. This is good advice that you are going to completely ignore. You are going to get your master's degree, you're going to feel very accomplished for doing so, you're going to work hard to get it, but you're also going to be miserable a lot of the time. Also, because you didn't wait to get the teaching experience, you're not going to get the assistantships that you want, which means that you're going to end up taking out a loan to pay for graduate school and paying a massive amount of student loan debt, which you didn't have before because your undergraduate was covered by scholarships for most of it. Which brings us to thing number 3. Dude, seriously, get your finances in order. Student loan debt is not the only debt that you're going to accumulate over the next few years, and it's going to get a little ridiculous how much debt you accumulate, which isn't unusual for someone like you and someone your age in this time, but seriously, just get your finances in order. I know it's not what you want to think about. I know you want to bury your head in the sand. I'm still the same way, I promise, but just think about it. Thing number 4, let's talk about your health. Not your physical health, that's fine. Let's talk about your mental and emotional health. Because you don't know it yet, and you're not going to know it for several more years. You have anxiety, and you have depression. You are struggling and have struggled pretty much all your life with anxiety and depression. Specifically, general anxiety and something called dysthymia, which is kind of a low-level depression that still knocks you out every so often. And by the way, this is the first time I am announcing this to my viewers, too. So, yeah. That's a thing. And the thing I'm going to tell you about that is that this is nothing to be ashamed of. This is not because of anything that you have done or anything that you are currently not doing that you should be doing. It's just the way things are. You're going to go to therapy. You're going to get a lot of help and a lot of support from good people and friends, some of you whom you have met but haven't really gotten to know yet, and some of whom you haven't met yet. You're going to be okay. You're not going to feel okay a lot of the time. Even 10 years on, you're not going to feel okay a lot of the time, but you are going to be okay. And there are going to be people in your life who, if you let them, will help you to be okay. Thing number 5, let's talk about your health, this time your physical health. Again, your physical health is fine. I just wanted to let you know that you're going to get really into running. Like, more so than you are now. You're already doing a little bit of running for marching band and stuff, and I know you want to keep that up, but you're going to get really, really into it. Like, you're going to start running marathons. Like, I myself just ran a marathon a few weeks ago, my 3rd actually. This shirt that I'm wearing right now is from my 1st marathon. So you're going to make that a part of your life. And this is going to be great for you because physical exercise, especially for you running, is going to be one of the many, many ways in which you keep your sanity and in which you fight off the anxiety and the depression. What I will say is train, like run smart. Don't just go 8 miles at a stretch because you feel like it. Work your way up to the long distances. Thing number 6, your living situation. You're, of course, going to move back up to Bowling Green to do graduate school, and you're actually going to be up in the Northwest Ohio area for actually about a decade. And for a while, it's going to feel like that's where you belong. That's where you want to be for the rest of your life. That's where you want to make a home for yourself, because that's what a lot of members of your family have done. the thing is, it's really, really easy to get trapped there. Like, that's the insidious thing about Northwest Ohio in general, and Bowling Green in particular. It's really easy to get trapped there, and it might be great for a lot of people, but it's not gonna be so good for you. It's gonna feel fine for a while. It's gonna feel like you really do belong there and this really is home for you, and you're actually going to resist moving away even though you get some opportunities to do so. But just trust me on this, it's not where you want to spend the rest of your life. I'm not there anymore. This is not Northwest Ohio. I'm not going to say specifically where it is because you're not the only one watching this. The rest of the internet is watching this, and I don't necessarily want them to know where I live. So but it's a great place to live. I'll just leave it at that. Also, this is your first house. You're not going to be living in apartments for the rest of your life. This is your first house. This is the living room of your first house. You have a piano. You can't see the keys, but you have a piano, you have a bookshelf and movies and all sorts of stuff. And yeah. Thing number 7. Church. I haven't gone to church for a while. And I've kind of fallen out of favor with it. I'm not going to go so far as to say that I have lost my faith completely, but let's just say that I've misplaced it temporarily. I don't want to get into specifics. It's not really a portion of my personal life that I want to air out on YouTube. And I know that this has been a part of your entire life. You grew up as a preacher's kid, you grew up in the church, you're very soon going to start working at a church. And for a while, again, that's going to be great for you and you're going to really love it and enjoy it. But it's that burnout thing again, man. It's where you throw yourself into the thing that you love and the thing that you enjoy doing, and eventually the creative energy just runs out. And there are going to be people who you trust who are not going to be okay with that. And they're going to turn on you. And it's going to cause you a lot of pain and a lot of doubt. And that's why we haven't been to church for a while. And it's going to be helpful to air out a lot of that stuff that you have been feeling for your mental and emotional health. But it also is going to be a difficult transition. On to happier things. Number 8, YouTube, this thing that you have started. You have already encountered a lot of the YouTube community, and specifically the YouTube community from 2008, which I still have really, really fond memories of. The collab channel that you have just made your first video response to, Shiny Happy Vloggy People, is going to become a big part of your life for the next several years. And just in general, making videos on YouTube is going to become a big part of your life. Eventually, your videos on this channel are going to take on some sort of form. You're going to drift away from just kind of the regular talk stuff videos where you don't really know what you're talking about and don't really know what you're doing, and you're going to focus more on reviews, book reviews, and then eventually movie reviews and musical reviews, and basically just reviews of stories. We know you love stories. You love reading them, you love watching them, you love writing them, and you're going to get an opportunity to do all of those things while you are making videos on YouTube. You're going to watch new things and read new things and encounter things that you wouldn't encounter ordinarily, and you are going to get an opportunity to make up your own story, which is going to be kind of weird and confusing and not make a whole lot of sense, but you like that sort of thing. It's not going to be something that you're going to love and be good enough at to make a career out of, even though you're going to be tempted to do that for at least a little while. And that's, again, a good thing, because that's that whole creative energy thing that we've already talked about a couple of times. So it's going to be a great hobby. It's going to be something where you're going to have a great creative outlet and something that you're really going to enjoy off and on over the next 10 years. Even though you don't know it yet, your life has significantly changed just from uploading that first video. You're going to go from the 3 subscribers you have right now on up to over 9,000. So enjoy it. Thing number 9. You haven't met her yet. And actually at this point she's still a little young for you because you just graduated high school. I know the whole, like, not gonna be in a relationship with somebody who was in middle school, I was in college. I mean, yeah, that's fine now, but in a few years' time, you're going to meet this person and you're gonna fall in love with her. And it's not gonna be immediately obvious who she is. Like, you're not really gonna know that she's the one until you two have been friends for a while. And that's something that you're going to get a lot of grief about. But just know that she's coming and you two are very happy. Also, you have a dog, and she's pretty great. She's got anxiety like you, but she's pretty great. She's actually sleeping right now. I was half expecting her to come running down here as soon as I started talking, but she's actually asleep right now. And finally, thing number 10. You and I both know that probably one of your biggest flaws is your lack of patience. We always want things to be resolved now. We want the job now. We want the success now. We want the emotional and mental stability now. We want these things instantaneously. We don't want to wait for them. And I think you and I both know in our rational minds that that's not a realistic expectation. But oftentimes our rational minds, our hatter minds, if you will, you'll understand that in a few years' time, don't always answer very well to our irrational minds, our reg minds, if you will. Again, you'll understand that in a few years' time. And the best piece of advice I have for you in this regard is just to slow down sometimes. This is actually partially a message for my present self in addition to my past self. But a lot of the issues that you have had in your life, a lot of the things that have caused you the most stress and the most heartache have been at least partially because you went into them too fast. You wanted something, you didn't want to wait for it, you were impulsive and jumped the gun and dove into it without really knowing what you were getting yourself into. Because everything in your life is a process. Your mental and emotional health and healing is a process. Your career is a process. Your relationships are a process. Nothing is ever going to happen instantaneously or immediately, sometimes not even at all. You're never going to get to that point where you feel 100% secure in everything in your life. It's just not going to happen. It's an endless process. And that's something that is difficult to remember in more emotional and anxiety-ridden times. But it is important to remember, and it's a thought that might cause you some comfort in those moments where you are despairing over if you will ever make it in the world. Making it in the world is not a destination. It's not an end point. It's not something that you're just going to arrive at one day. It's something that you're going to continue working towards. There are going to be parts of your life that are never going to feel right. There are going to be moments in your life where you're never going to feel like you're going to belong or are doing the right thing or are in the right situation. That's what life is. That is just the nature of being a human in the world. And it's going to be difficult sometimes, but it's a process. And if you can remember that it's a process, and if you can remember to slow down sometimes and take the time to examine the process and examine your life and what you are doing, you might have a little bit of an easier time with it. At least I sure hope so. I don't know for sure. I don't know everything. I don't know anything. I'm only 33 years old. I know at 23 you feel like you know everything. And I'm here to tell you at 33, I don't know much of anything. But in looking back over the past 10 years and in all the stuff that has happened, there have been some difficult times, but there have also been just some wonderful times. And my life is significantly better now than it was 10 years ago. But your life is going to improve, and you'll get to stand in this living room while your wife is at work and make this video for yourself from 10 years ago. So look forward to that. Also, thing number 11, Donald Trump is president. I wish I was kidding about that. I really do. I'm sorry. And just to end the video on a happier note, here's your dog. Hey, Shadow. You wanna go for a walk? Do you wanna go for a walk? Oh, she's thinking about it. She's thinking about it. You wanna go for a walk?